Hello and welcome to another episode of the Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. Well, I got to tell you, I never saw this partnership coming down the pike. No, not talking about your neighbor on that side of the street, along with your next door neighbor, getting together, falling in love, getting married. That partnership you never saw coming. Not talking about that one. I'm talking about Unrivaled partnering with NASCAR. Shout out to Holly. Holly is the one who hipped me to this partnership. I think it speaks volumes about what people have done in terms of coming alongside Nafisa Collier, Brianna Stewart, and others who are spokespeople for this league and wanting to pour into it, wanting it to be a success. And that's why I did a video like I did earlier. Because when you have people who are ready to help you, who want to invest in you, who want to show up, who want to pour money into you, you want the best possible product. I know that there are some short-sighted people who don't see the big picture, and every time you talk about some of the things that I talk about, they get their panties in a wad because they don't understand, they don't get it, that to grow like you want to grow, to get people like NASCAR to say, we're going to highlight you, you must have a product that is professional, right? Right. Instead, people get all in their feels and they miss the big picture. So look at this big picture of NASCAR and what NASCAR did to shine a huge light on Unrivaled on women's basketball. Because I never saw this coming, I would have never known about this. So I'm at NASCAR.com. Ally and Alex Bowman team up with Unrivaled League for Homestead scheme highlighting equal support for men's and women's sports. Now, Alex Bowman is a sports car racer. That's the right expression for it. So here it is, Homestead, Florida. I'm not going to read all of this article, but check out this car. Check out the car, guys. This is an Unrivaled car from top to bottom to side. You got to admit, that is rather sweet. So, okay, American basketball superstar Brianna Stewart excitedly approached the number 48 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet sitting on Homestead-Miami Speedway pit road. As she looked over the car's brightly colored, specially detailed pink and teal paint scheme, the 6'4", 3-time Olympic gold medalist wondered aloud how drivers climbed in through the small window opening. Okay, like I said, not gonna read all through this, but she had with her two other Unrivaled players, Dejanay Carrington and Marina Mabry. Well, that's a partnership I wouldn't have expected either. Dejanay going full NASCAR. Woo! Anyway, so they're looking over the Alex Bowman car, the car he's going to steer in the March 23rd NASCAR Cup Series race at Homestead-Miami Speedway. It was the high wattage result of sponsor Ally's involvement in bringing together two popular sports worlds, stock car racing and women's basketball. Okay. And the race will come right after Unrivaled finishes the first season, and playoffs in Unrivaled start in 2 weeks. So it'll be a week after that. What does Brianna Stewart say about this? It says, my initial thoughts about coming here and being on the speedway and seeing the decked out Ally car and getting into the pace car for a ride, I'm so excited. Carrington, who's never been to a NASCAR race, she was also visibly impressed. And so they're sizing up the car and checking out. Like, how can you not be impressed with that? I mean, that's beautiful. I don't care if you like NASCAR or not. That just screams, look at me. Okay. Let's continue here. It says, Dejanay said, it's a lot more different than I thought. I never realized they didn't open the door and instead go straight through the window. It's completely different than what I thought. Those drivers are pretty nimble getting in and out of there. She continued and said, we took some hot laps, and I think I was just visually imagining 39 or more cars out there at the same time. And I was like, no way. I couldn't imagine even 5 more cars. And they're going so fast. I have so much respect for them. I know this is me being a bad girl, but seriously, maybe seeing people driving a car might make her respect and appreciate Uber drivers even more. Go Dejanay. Anyway, she said, we definitely want to come back for the race. So maybe she'll be at the NASCAR race. Okay, so it says that evening, Bowman and several of his number 48 Hendrick team members took in a pair of Unrivaled League games in nearby Miami and were similarly impressed with the basketball vibe. So they go to the track, and then these guys go over and watch Unrivaled. Like I said, a partnership. And it goes on and it talks about when you go into an Unrivaled game, how it's so interactive for the kids, and there's an all-in feeling. It's friendly, it's energetic, all those things. So Bowman says getting to go to the game and seeing their world a little bit, anyone that operates at a high level in their profession, is really cool for me to see the different perspectives and different lives. But typically people that operate at that level, at least in sports, I feel like we have a lot of similarities. I've gotten to meet a lot of cool people over the years. Anytime you get to give people rides or introduce people to the sport that have never been around it, it's really fun. I would love to get in that car and go for a nice little stroll around. I don't want to be in the car when they're racing, but how many of you would jump in through that window and go for a ride around that track? I would, nice and slowly. Don't be trying out your speed with me in it, but that's a beautiful looking vehicle, and it looks like quite a cool partnership here. So, but this is the interesting part about what they're trying to do as it pertains to women's sports, because NASCAR, Unrivaled. Well, let's look at this. It says years ago, we noticed that 90% of our budget was in men's sports and 10% into women's sports, and felt intuitively we needed to challenge ourselves to get better. And that was really the idea behind the decision making, said Allies Chief Marketing Officer Andrea Bremer, who goes on to say, this has never been a men versus women thing. And we thought they were both so important to us. It's the journey we've been on as part of this 50-50 pledge, as women's sports has seen just an incredible rise in popularity. Goes on to say, I think sometimes people make this assumption that NASCAR is primarily dominated by men. But if you look in the stands, there are a wide variety of demographics, male and female. I think bringing Unrivaled basketball into NASCAR is going to be really cool for the fans and the sports as well. It's a really strong way to bring two things together that maybe others would have never thought would coexist together. Like I said, it's not a partnership I ever thought about. But here's the deal. It says you could get a lot of NASCAR fans interested in women's basketball because of this, and a bunch of fans who go to women's basketball games interested in NASCAR. And that's a great outcome. So there's really interesting. So Brianna Stewart says, I think with LA, they walk the walk, they talk the talk. And it says the fact they are equally investing 50% in men's and women's sports is something that is incredibly special, because it doesn't always happen that way. And it's just amazing to be partnering with them. So yeah, I'm not going to read everything else here, but look at this car. It does explain. Oh yeah, I do want to read this because I want you to see what it says about the car. It says Bowman's car design was purposeful. It features the Miami skyline with a woman basketball player dribbling a ball, and phrases such as women's sports and leaders on the Art Deco, Deco-like pink and blue hood. The Unrivaled logo is on the door next to Bowman's famous number 48, and a call to watch to change sits on the roof. So you can see that here. Has the big 48. Bowman's name is here. Ally is here. You see so many different things. Here's a women's basketball player. There's a hoop. There's a medal. It says 50-50. A movement, not a moment, ballin', basketballs, crowns, megaphones, Miami, palm trees, equity on here, hoops. So there's a whole lot of stuff going on here. Unmatched, what does that say? Unmatched, something, unrivaled. Unlocked. I don't know. Your eyes might be better than mine on this. So, yeah, watch the change, equity, all that court stuff. Just a bunch of stuff. Women's sports here. Bowman back here. You can see that in the door. Did we get to see it on this one? Yeah, you see the Unrivaled logo here next to the 48 on the side. Pretty sweet car. So this is a decision they've made to invest 50-50. Whatever you think of that, it's quite a partnership for sure. Quite a partnership. And for sure, as I said before, when Caitlin Clark came into the WNBA, I said that it is important that everyone receive Caitlin Clark and other newcomers and understand that a rising tide lifts all boats. Not saying that this was all due to Caitlin Clark, but I am saying that I was going to say she moves the needle, but I got to remember what Agumake said, and that is that she is the needle. And so when you have women who present themselves well, who are professional, who can play, other people become more interested, and then they want to invest in you. And so all of a sudden, there's a NASCAR event, and you've got this beaut of a car that someone took the time to design so that they can do their thing representing you. So this is what the artist said. Sophia Chang says, a big part of my work is storytelling, visually telling a story for all the different brands involved. So we have the Alex Bowman story, the NASCAR story, the Unrivaled, women's basketball, Ally, and everything Ally is doing in sports and women's sports specifically. So it's about figuring out the perfect cocktail mix of being able to bridge all those worlds together. And this is, again, renowned California artist Sophia Chang, who designed the number 48's paint scheme. I got to say, well done, because that's pretty. So what do you think? What are your thoughts about Unrivaled having the opportunity to partner with NASCAR and with Dejanay saying, hey, I'd like to come back for the race? This is definitely quite a time for women's sports. And I just want them to be able to capitalize off this time, present themselves well. And you know what? Who knows how fast, see what I did there? How fast they can go. All right. If you haven't subscribed to the Adrienne Ross Show, please do so. Make sure you hit the thumbs up also. Tell your friends about it. And get in the comments. And what do you think? What do you think about NASCAR? What do you think about this partnership? I'll catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundantly.